And welcome to the podcast show. It's Dan Latto speaking. And in today's session, I want to talk about property sourcing and I want to cover off a couple of myths. I posted a video out a couple of weeks ago and somebody commented about something. And I'm like, you know what? That's just not true. And the thing that they said was that nobody makes money on property sourcing. And it's like, you know what? It's completely false. I know lots of people who make a very good living. We train people and they go off and make a good living. I've made a good living when I used to live in the UK. I don't do it anymore because I live overseas. But you can make a very good living from finding deals. And they're like, oh, you're just looking on Rightmove to find a deal. And I'm like, well, we have found deals on Rightmove and we've sold them to people who are too busy to look on Rightmove. And we found some great deals. One of the best deals I found was, I think it was 170. We paid 142 for it. And it was on with an estate agent and the property was on Rightmove and we sourced that deal. And it was like, 30 grand off. And it's because the estate agent couldn't sell the deal. And it was a first floor apartment with no balcony, but it was a 2-bed. It had a car parking space. It was really good value, and other people didn't see the value because of the state of the property, and it just needed the windows cleaning and a bit of a refresh and so on, and some furniture putting in, and it was a great deal. So when people are saying nobody can make money, no, you can't make money. That's the difference. There's a set process for making money in property. And if you don't know what that process is, you'll forever be, running around like a chicken with no head, trying to find how to do these deals. But if you follow the set process, then you can go out and find these deals. To say nobody makes money in property is just ridiculous. And it's simply not true because we know that people do make money on property. And then the other thing that people say is that you can co-source without being compliant. And it's just not true. And I just have to clear this up completely. You have to be compliant in order to co-source. If you're not compliant and the FCA or FSA or whoever it is these days comes knocking on your door, you're going to get hit with a hefty fine. And just saying, oh, well, I work for this guy, and they'll be like, well, show us your pay slips then. Oh, no, I don't have pay slips. Well, you're not employed by them then, are you? You're co-sourcing. You have to be compliant as a co-sourcer. And I understand that's a pain, and I understand that compliance can be expensive sometimes, but you have to be compliant. You are acting like an estate agent, and therefore you must be compliant. And if you're not compliant, then you might get the knock on the door and a fine. And then the other thing that people say is, oh no, people are going to steal all your deals. And it's like, look, do people steal deals? Yeah, it can happen. But that's why you have paperwork in place. That's why you have contracts in place. That's why you have NDAs in place. And that's why I have lawyers in place as well. And look, is it going to happen at least once in your career? Probably. Is it worth chasing after them with the paperwork and the lawyers? Perhaps. But if you get 20 deals in your career or 50 deals in your career and one or two of those deals are stolen somehow, like, why would you let this thing that's probably never going to happen stop you from going out and making money? That does not make sense to me. I think you should be going out and making as much money as you can. And all these things, is it Winston Churchill who talks about, we all worry about 1,000 things that are never ever going to happen. And it's true, we all do it. I worry about it even today in various different forms. What if we don't close another client? And what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if you get knocked down by a bus? And all this stuff. And then there you go, 10 years in, and none of that stuff has happened. And you end up worrying about stuff that is never going to happen. Are people going to steal deals? Does it happen? Has it happened? Absolutely. But I guarantee that those people who've had those deals stolen have not had a framework to work with or a coach that can help them protect some of those deals. They're just out there on their own, doing it themselves without any kind of formal guidance or help and advice and so on. And I get that. If that's you, brilliant. If you don't need that kind of help, awesome. But most people do. Most people need to know what are the frameworks to be successful in property sourcing, and you should go out and find those. Obviously, we've got a property sourcing training software, training, I should say. We offer property sourcing training. It's 57 quid. Go take a look. I'll drop the link down below. But you should not stop going out and trying to be a property sourcer because of these 3 things that you think are going to stop you. All right. I hope you find that useful.